Hello everyone! I haven't really shown you any Capablanca games yet on my channel, other than the two games he lost against Sultan Khan and against Mikhail Botvinnik. But this is quite undeserving for such a player, as he was one of the greatest players to ever play the game. People often said that when you played Capablanca you didn't actually play against him, you played against his coat, because he was never actually at the table. He was always somewhere playing bridge or, flirting with women, and then when you made your move he just, came passing by and he made his move and then he left again. So he was well known for his cosmic speed of perception and of his instant moves. And he was one of the greatest endgame players also to ever play. And people often teased Capablanca about this. They said, okay, I mean, what good is it to you if you can beat anyone in the world, even with unimaginable results, if it's a boring game. So here and then Capablanca played an interesting game just to show that he can, even though he thought it was useless. He said that the best way to win a chess game is the simplest way to win a chess game, without too many complications. He said that if you complicate a chess game, you don't understand chess. And Capablanca actually has a streak of 8 years of being undefeated in tournament games. And this is including his tournament match against Emanuel Lasker. He didn't lose one game, although the match was supposed to be 24 games. Lasker resigned after 14 games because it was 10 draws and 4 wins for Capablanca. And another interesting thing that Capablanca never actually challenged Lasker for the championship title. Lasker gave up the title, and then Lasker challenged Capablanca, as Lasker was the challenger and Capablanca was already a champion when they played their match. Because Lasker was pretty sure that he would lose to the great Cuban. So yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things to say about Capablanca, but I will leave something for another video. So let's see this game. This game Capablanca is playing against, I forgot the guy's name, let me just check it, against Marc Fonaroff. And Marc Fonaroff was an arts professor, a musician. And he was a pretty strong player, as you'll see. Capablanca was white and Marc Fonaroff was black. We have e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, and d4, the Scotch game. We have d6, knight captures, knight c3, knight to f6, and bishop to b5 by Capablanca. We have bishop to d7, Capablanca castles, bishop to e7, just developing, rook to e1, and here Marc captures, e captures on d4. He can't really castle. If he castles, he would lose a pawn to this simple variant. See? So after Capablanca's rook e1, he decided to play e captures on d4 and go for a series of trades here. We have knight captures on d4, knight captures on d4, queen captures on d4, bishop captures on b5, knight captures on b5, and here Marc Fonaroff finally castles. And okay, he did manage to exchange a couple of pieces, and Capablanca plays queen to c3, attacking that c7 pawn. We have c6, knight to d4 by Capablanca, and here Capablanca is preparing knight to f5. This is a very nice square for the knight, and also will threaten g7 and harass this bishop on e7. So Marc plays knight to d7, disregarding this as a threat, and Capablanca of course plays knight to f5. And here we have bishop to f6 with a tempo on the queen, and Capablanca plays queen to g3. Now with ideas of queen g7 if something were to happen to this bishop, and also some tricks with knight h6. So we have knight to e5, we have bishop to f4, and queen to c7. The queen is still guarding this pawn and this knight as well, and is preparing rook to d8. And here Capablanca plays rook 8 to d1, and rook 8 to d8, simply defending. But he misses Capablanca's next move. Capablanca plays rook captures on d6, because this pawn was actually protecting this knight on e5. So he captures the rook, rook captures on d6, and now Capablanca plays bishop to e5 with a double attack, with a triple attack on this rook, and if the rook moves, then well, the queen is behind the rook. And Marc Fonaroff actually had a pretty good move here. He had queen a5, although he missed this, with an attack on Capablanca's rook on e1. So I mean, this has to be defended, so Capablanca would probably have to play something like bishop to c3, and after bishop captures, b captures, rook to g6, defending checkmate on g7, Capablanca would win back the exchange, knight e7 check, king h8, knight captures here, and after h captures on g6, Capablanca would be up a pawn, but this a2 pawn isn't really a very healthy pawn. So I think Marc Fonaroff would have some drawing chances, although he would probably still lose the game. But after bishop to e5, Marc Fonaroff found a brilliant move, and, well, he thought it was a brilliant move, and he played rook to d1. And now this is, of course, very dangerous. If Capablanca captures his queen, then, well, it's pretty simple. Rook captures on e1 is checkmate. So Capablanca said, okay, I'll capture your rook. And here we have bishop captures on e5 with an attack on the queen. And after the queen moves, Marc Fonaroff thought that, well, if the queen isn't protecting h2, I'll just grab h2 with check. And if the queen plays something like queen h3 or queen h4 to defend it, I'll simply capture this pawn on b2. So he would grab a pawn back and the position would be, well, still better for white, but he was hoping. But Capablanca had a different idea. And if you would like, feel free to pause the video here and find Capablanca's idea. Okay, I hope you were successful, and congratulations to everyone who were successful. And those of you who just want to see what Capablanca did, he actually played a very nice knight to h6 check. So only move, since the pawn can't capture the knight, is king h8, and now a beautiful move again by Capablanca, queen captures on e5, and this is very dangerous. White is up a piece now, and the knight can't be captured as this pawn is pinned, and also black queen is attacked. So not a lot of things for black to do here. I mean, whatever he plays loses since he's down a piece, so he captures the queen. And here a very nice finishing blow by Kappa. Knight captures on f7 with check, forking the king and queen. And if the knight is captured, if rook captures knight, then simply rook to d8 leads to checkmate. And if if a knight captures on f7, king to g8, then simply knight captures on e5. And well, Capablanca is up a piece, and this is winning a piece and a pawn actually. So yeah, a very nice maneuver. So after knight captures on f7, his opponent Marc Fonaroff, the arts musician professor, resigned. And yeah, a very nice final picture, and a very interesting game by Capablanca. Even though he was probably the strongest player ever to play the game, his games weren't always that interesting, although because he was mostly an endgame player. So yeah, that's it. I do hope you enjoyed this game, and I will try to bring up some more of Capablanca's games. And I'm glad a lot of you enjoyed that game by Gregory House yesterday. So yeah, that's it. Thank you all for watching. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here, and I'll see you soon.